Here in the Beaver State, we do more than drink beer, get tattoos, and eat organic kale. Our state has a history of ingenuity, innovation, and independence. Oregon's natural beauty, open spaces, and resources, from lush farmlands to high desert, have nurtured and inspired us for generations. We pride ourselves on being the kind of state that comes together to build communities and public systems that sustain everyone. Of course, there are challenges too. Some of the systems that we've created together are now out of balance, and not all of our voices are being heard at the Capitol, where decision makers are creating policies that affect all of us. But there is opportunity in these challenges, and we are at a pivotal moment in this state. With the right leadership, strategy, and tools, we can elevate the voice of every person and every family in Oregon and restore our sense of balance. Let's talk about those voices. They are your voices, my voice, our voices. Young people, single women, and people of color make up what we're calling the rising American electorate. 4 out of 10 people in Oregon are a part of this group, and we know that in order to keep our future bright, we need everyone actively participating in our political system. But we also know that the rising American electorate voted at a 9% lower rate than the rest of the Oregon voting population in last year's election. And back in 2010, which wasn't a presidential year, the rising American electorate voted at a 16% lower rate. It is up to all of us to see that our democracy is representative. And in true Oregon fashion, there are community-based groups from the beaches of Astoria to the Pendleton Roundup who are working hard right now to close that gap. Just like the grain used in Eastern Oregon mills to make voodoo donuts, many community-based organizations, policy groups, and electoral campaigns have been in silos. Grassroots groups would organize to knock on doors and work to unite neighborhoods. All great work, but they often couldn't contact all the people that they wanted to or afford the necessary tools, like a voter database, because of lack of resources. Meanwhile, policy groups would be back in their cubicles, thinking of the best way to pass policy. Important work, but not necessarily the most efficient way to connect and communicate with the vast majority of community-based organizations who have the relationships with real voters and potential voters on the ground. And then electoral campaigns would come into the same neighborhood, knock on those same doors, and leave once the election was over. Necessary work, but too fleeting to build lasting relationships. But that's all changing, and that's where Oregon Voice comes in. We think of ourselves as a table, bringing organizations together to share ideas, develop leaders, and make space for them to coordinate their efforts for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. We're not just any table either. We're like your grandmother's table. Because we're nonpartisan, we can bring all members of the family together, community-based organizations, policy groups, and government partners. In 2012, Oregon Voice Table Partners collectively helped register over 70,000 Oregonians to vote. That means 1 out of every 30 newly registered voters in Oregon was registered by our table. But it isn't just about registering voters, it's about improving people's lives. When we have an electorate that represents all of us living in this state, we'll have decision makers who act in our interests and are willing to be accountable to all of us. Democracy matters. It is in fact the only way we're going to achieve justice and prosperity for everyone in Oregon and around the country. And democracy only works when we all participate. So please join us. Check out our website, sign up for our newsletter, and let's keep telling this Oregon story together. Let's do it in a way that's more inclusive and forward-looking than ever before. Thank you.